hike a bike. It's the start of it. On May 31st of this year, I embarked on one of the biggest challenges I've ever taken on, the Grand Loop bikepacking race. 43 riders would line up with me that morning, 9 of us women. Just 24 people, 2 of them women, would finish the race. Unfortunately, I would scratch before the end of the first day. What happened? Well, I'll get to that. The Grand Loop is a grandfather of a bikepacking route, pieced together from 3 long-distance mountain bike trails created in the 80s and 90s, the Paradox, the Kokopelli, and the Tabawash. The total route is 366 extremely rough and rugged miles with 1 resupply point and over 38,000 feet of climbing. I've been dreaming about riding this route ever since I rode through the heart of it with Traci on our San Juan Hut to Hut tour in 2021. Our route took us along the Center Canyon. This route would take us up into the mountains and the plateaus that surrounded it. I started my research for riding the Grand Loop by studying maps to gain an understanding of the route and the geography of the region. From a gear standpoint, I knew I'd need to lighten up significantly for my Great Divide setup. I researched and purchased a bivvy and tarp to reduce both bulk and weight. For my bike, I installed a rear rack and mini panniers so I could use my dropper post, and added an axle pack to my front fork so I could carry adequate water. I tested all of our lights to see which lasted the longest. I counted every gram to see where I could cut weight. At last count, I had 50 fewer items packed than the Divide. I studied every water source and made a cheat sheet to keep it handy. Starting in December, I trained using a high-volume cross-country marathon plan on Trainer Road. I did weights twice a week. When it came time, I loaded up my Mini Cooper and drove the 2 days out to Grand Junction, Colorado. Then I landed in Naturita, just south of the race start, the day before the race. So I've just arrived at the Rimrock Motel in Naturita, and it's the night before the race, and I have lots of butterflies in my stomach, but yeah, I'm ready to get on the bike and get moving. I have my bike right here, and today's task is to get my bags back on it. They are sitting over here, so we'll do a final pack, and then I'm going to do the shocks, and I put some air in my shocks to accompany the extra weight and make sure my tire pressure is good, make sure the bike's looking good. So excited and nervous. We've got the meet and greet tonight. The morning of the race, I parked my car at a Nucla resident's house, packed up my bike, and headed down to the race start. Nucla is gorgeous. You can see the San Juans on one side. You can see the La Salles on the other. And then you've got the plateau over to the other side. Recording. Hi.
Hey. Welcome, riders.
Hi.
Hello.
There was a friendly energy in the air, and it was fun to see the variety of bike setups that people had.
Look how quickly everybody takes off.
I learned that the start of an ultra-endurance race is pretty relaxed, given the number of hours it's expected to take overall.
Here we go. 43 riders. Wait a minute.
Woo, woo, woo.
It felt like a relief to finally be on the bike.
Little did I know I'd make my first mistake before I even got out of town.
Yes, start ride. I'm finding myself in last place at the very start because I dropped my phone. I had to go back for it. So they're up on that ridge right there. That's where I'm heading in this couple minutes here. Not the best start, but oh well, it's going to force me right away to be patient. Calm, consistent, confident. Right, Tracy? Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Just at the edge of town, we entered the Paradox Trail single-track system. That's Alexandera Houchin muscling up the hill on her single speed in front of me.
We're like 10 minutes into the race, but I had to stop because look, we're already on a huge climb. We're heading up to the top of that.
It didn't help that I got my heart rate up right away at the start when I hurried to catch up after I dropped my phone. Now I was being repeatedly subjected to spikes in my heart rate as we climbed punchy hill after hill.
This was our first big hike bike, and I came from over there and coming up this way. Hike a bike. It's the start of it.
This hike-a-bike section went straight up the side of a mountain. It was an intense effort for me to find a footing, heave my bike forward and up several steps, catch my breath, and then repeat. I'd primarily trained for a slow, steady Zone 2 effort, but so far it was feeling more like a sprint. I willed myself to relax and take it slower to lower my heart rate. After all, there was beauty to notice.
An awesome photo right there. Probably wouldn't show up though on the phone. Anyway, every now and then you get these nice breaks in the action and you can catch your breath. It's freaking gorgeous up here. Up a big downhillish kind of section. Felt a lot like Porcupine Ridge. Oh, got something spicy coming up here. Wow. I'm thinking, get off the bike. Wow. So, started to say, these people in front of me, Backus is the girl, I don't know the guy's name, but I first met them at the top of Monarch Pass when I was riding the Vapor Trail. Isn't that crazy? We meet in the middle of Grand Loop.
Shortly after this recording, I again had to heave my bike up another hike-a-bike, and then another, and another. I broke my own rule to record when the going gets tough, because frankly, I was just trying to tough it out. The heat was rising, and my energy was fading.
Well, we're on this nice wide road. Here's an update. I've been really struggling today. I lost track of how many times I had to get off my bike and heave it up a very steep climb. Fell a couple times, just in the effort of pushing my bike. Not feeling great. I'm not heat acclimated. So yeah, it's been really difficult. I'm very much struggling at this point of the ride. let's see, this dumb thing lost its bolt and fell off, so I had to stop and reconfigure my bike computer, get that back on. I currently don't have a way to mount my front light, although I do have my helmet light. So yeah, this is really handing it to me. I don't know exactly what to do, but I'll just accept this rest period here on the road, try to regather myself and see if I can keep moving forward.
It was becoming clear that I had to make a choice soon about whether to continue or not. The route was taking me further into the backcountry and would become hotter and more rugged. With all of my preparations, the critical ones for this route appeared to be heat and altitude training. I knew it would only get worse if I continued, so I decided to scratch now while I could still get myself to safety.
Charlotte and Taylor, I've decided to scratch, and they've been giving me really, really nice advice.
Let's back up a second. I met Charlotte and Taylor, both pro cyclists, at the meet and greet the night before. Charlotte's husband Matthew was riding the Grand Loop. I found them on a training ride as I was returning by road back to the race start. Charlotte has raced ultra-endurance events and has experience with scratching. She's also a coach, so she had some well-considered wisdom to share with me.
So, Charlotte.
Well, scratching isn't just like a bad thing that happens. It's an ultra race. Usually, like my first ultra race, I scratched. They're really challenging, and I think for anybody who's interested in doing it, learning the hardships and working through scratching it's kind of like team sports, right? Like, you don't want a team to win over and over, because if they lose, they don't even know how to handle losing. So it's the same situation where it's like, yes, you do a lot of effort to pack and do the research and all of that, but scratching isn't, I always say it's not a bad thing. You learn from that opportunity to build from it and become stronger in the future.
What she said.
You learn from the opportunity. You learn when things don't go to plan. And you come back stronger in the future. Charlotte's words stayed with me as I completed the ride back to town. This wasn't the outcome I was planning for, and I was disappointed not to see the route I'd studied so closely. But I was proud of myself for listening to my body. And now that I know what kind of preparation my body needs to ride the loop, I can adjust my training, then come back prepared and finish what I started. I wasn't about to waste the opportunity of being in Colorado, especially with a bike already packed and ready for adventure. So I headed to Gunnison, Colorado for cooler temperatures and to ride a pair of local overnight routes. Stay tuned for the next videos.